It's a bit like a high-tech pumpkin, that it's organic, totally organic on one hand, but completely mechanical on the other. My name is Michael Pickwoad, and I'm the production designer on Doctor Who. Well, we needed a new TARDIS chiefly because it had to move from up a boat where the studios were down to the bay in Cardiff, and the other one couldn't move, which seems strange. The TARDIS shouldn't just move when you tell it to move, but realities are somewhat different, and so we had to start again. Well, I suppose there was a sense of some alarm as to think, how on earth do you start building a TARDIS? I wanted something that didn't look too frivolous. I mean, the other one was great fun, but there were some very whimsical bits on it that didn't self-explain themselves. And so we just wanted something that, when you walked into it, you'd say to yourself, this could fly. What mustn't I touch? Stephen Moffat was very keen that the next TARDIS should be sort of more technical in feel, give it like high-tech architecture, sharp and precise. Here you can see the sketches of the time rotor and some of the early versions of the console. There are certain things that are on it and certain things are not, but in a process like this you have to just keep drawing it again and again and again, just working on ideas till you get something you think, oh, that's what's going to work. And this is another element. This is from the Hadron Collider, but this was one of the inspirations for the inside of the time rotor, because it was just scintillatingly precise. You just feel it must do something wonderful. We measured up the old TARDIS and realised that actually it was an awful lot more volume than you could actually use. The space that it occupied was actually enormous, but you couldn't actually get to most parts of it. So I thought, well, let's try and make something that you can get to all of it. I wanted to give it a lot more sense of movement inside, and as you can see, there are various levels that you can run up and down, and Matt Smith certainly was a doctor who didn't like to stand still. Well, as you can see, there's 18 of these ribs round, and this is the main feature of the constructional feature of the TARDIS, because in one go you can give it the shape you want it, give it the delicacy, put all the sort of design touches in, yet it's strong enough to take the gallery. You don't have to start thinking of how you're going to support anything. And once you're using steel, it sort of initially sounds expensive, but becomes very, very economic, because it was merely building a steel frame and cladding it. And in fact, when it was being built, it looked as though we were building some enormous ship. Now, on the base of the model, you can see it's the plan view of the TARDIS as drawn when I was first sketching it out. Making the model was very useful just to prove that you wouldn't hit your head when you ran down the stairs, because they spiral down in a sort of Escher-like fashion. And so it was, it's quite tight, but it's very comfortable. There's no way that you would actually hit your head. But you can't have a TARDIS without a six-sided console. It wouldn't be a TARDIS, would it? So, and it's got to have lots of levers on it. And so we made 6 segments, rather like as if there were 6 individual ways you could fly the TARDIS if you needed to. If one broke down, you could go to another one, or one could do something a bit better than another if necessary. One's very mechanical, one's more sort of electronic, and there's a new cerebral, feely, touchy one that we hope will connect with the Doctor's brain when he puts his fingers into it. Unlike all the other TARDISes, we thought we'd make the top of it actually do something. And so we had 2 rings, and we managed to make it so that when you turn it on, all the rings contra-rotate. So it makes it look more complicated. We then put Gallifreyan symbols around, as though he could go to the console and compute something, press a button, and these things would whir around and the whole thing would take off. It was there from the very first thing. And I think in a way it's the magic box that gets him about, that does half the tricks that he does.